SFJ 4x4 Studios presents
in my oversized four-wheel drive Jeeps.
a Jeep podcast starring industry experts.
Pure monosity. What? Say that again.
With mad scientist Scott Brown,
Use my drill press as a sort of lathe.
our host Neil Simpson,
If one light goes out, they all go out.
filled with shenanigans.
We are really professional with Jeeps.
This is I Speak Jeep.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever, however you are joining us. This is the I Speak Jeep podcast presented by SFJ4x4.com. My name is Neil with Simpson Family Jeeps and joined in Grandma's Couch Studio.
Is the producer guy over there, Jeff, the Italian stallion.
Man, you were quick to jump on that, but let's introduce the mad scientist Scott Brown over there.
Yeah,
Yes, on the
Wearing his named hoodie so that everybody knows who he is.
yes,
pretty much.
the Cherokee Chief.
How are you wearing
Bench
your
seat.
hoodie today?
I'm wearing a hoodie as well.
I know. It's like 70-something degrees out, and the heater was on when I walked in here.
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm
I
like,
actually.
no.
So I came in. I came in early this morning. So odd thing is, when I was out, I got up and I walked the dogs, and I was in a t-shirt, and I was like, hey, it's kind of a warm breeze, right? I was
Yeah.
fine. And then I was like, well, I'll just have a hoodie. It's easier to take the layer off. I'll practice what I preach. I tell my kids
Yeah.
this all the time, right?
Yep.
I got into the shop, and this is the challenge with the shop because it's full. It's concrete and cold steel. It was cold in here.
Yeah.
It felt cold. It was not. I looked at the thermostat, and it was one of those like cognitive dissonance situations where the thermostat did not say it was that cold, but compared to outside, it was cold. I was like, nope, I'm turning the heater on. I'm keeping the hoodie on. I'm not having it.
I was like, spring is here. The Jeep should be naked. I'm good to go.
Yesterday, I totally wanted to strip down my Jeep.
Yeah.
I
Yesterday
really
was
thought
gorgeous.
about it.
The morning was a little breezy and chilly.
Agreed.
But
It
by
as it
afternoon,
warmed
it
up.
was amazing.
Yeah, I really considered stripping the Jeep down yesterday, and I thought, do I want to be that guy again? I used to love taking the top off in March, April, and leaving it off until October, November, pushing it. Man, I don't know if it's. I like locking my stuff up in there, though. That is
Yeah.
the challenge I'm running into. Going to the stores and lock my groceries up or take the dogs with me. That's a little bit of the challenge I'm at. But anywho, today we are going to be unpacking the Easter Jeep Safari concepts.
I have not looked at them ahead of time, other than you just walking in with the papers. So this is the first time I have not followed along with it.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's interesting. I think it's worth mentioning that in the conversation that I feel like there was not as much hype. And I wonder
They
if
didn't need to.
I was going to say, from what I looked at, I'm still wondering where the concepts are. What you handed me weren't concept vehicles.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to unpack, and hopefully people in the comments will, kind of weigh in and tell us, their thoughts and how they felt about it. I felt like leading up to EJS now, I recognize that we as a business are exceptionally busy right here and now. And while much of the world and the economy is a little downtrodden, we actually have a very full schedule with quite a few Jeeps on property, with quite a few logistics in process. And so I wonder if we just weren't conscious of the EGS releases, but like in the past, Jeep would do like teasers. They did a bunch of good, like kind of quality marketing where they did
They
like
had
the
Jeeps
blurred out.
worthy of teasing.
Hell, see, you are just full of piss and vinegar this morning.
I
regarding
went
these
looking for
EGS.
them a couple weeks ago, and I was. Well, we'll have to wait.
It was a little
when we
mid.
Discuss that.
So we're gonna be discussing the EGS stuff, and if you are unfamiliar, you'll know. I'll bring you up to speed that I did a kind of documenting a timeline of EGS Jeeps historically back to basically the late '90s, early 2000s, and so this is actually a concept that I am particularly passionate about, and so I'm looking forward. I think I like this episode annually. While we talk about these Jeeps.
I think we need to define the word concept for Jeep, though, so that they understand what that means.
Well, and we'll get into that. And then, obviously, folks, if you're interested in knowing what happened in our personal lives, stay tuned through the outro. And you can hear whether or not Jeffrey has left the Jeep community at this point. Just sow those seeds. I think he might have downgraded to like a Hyundai or a Kia or something.
Oh, this is going to be fun. So, in the comments, Billy Joe said good morning. She was first. We got Jeannie saying good morning. Bill McWilliams saying good morning. Charles saying it's 70 in Texas.
Frigid.
Yeah, that's cold for Texas. Bradford's checking in. Charles said he wanted to take the top off the YJ, but there's too much rain. That's fair.
That's fair.
Billy Joe said 64 here at the moment in Pennsylvania. And Bill McWilliams, Jeep people are recession proof.
Sort of. At least we are resilient.
I was gonna say, is it that we're recession proof, or we just don't know how to say no to Jeep parts?
I was gonna say
bullheaded.
Yeah,
we like our Jeep parts.
Yeah, we're resilient, and we still break our Jeeps regardless of what's happening in the economy. Also, our Jeeps transport us to our happy places. You know what I mean? And that's what the concept vehicles are supposed to do. They're supposed to tickle our imagination, and that's ultimately when you have the YJ, when you have the TJ, when you have the JT that's built the way you want it to be. It tantalizes your imagination of where you could go with it, whether or not you actually go on that epic road trip coast to coast, or just camp in your local off-road park. The Jeeps, they do that for us. So even in recessionary times, we need that hope. Yeah. There's, we talk about in a recession, alcohol increases, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think all substance abuse goes up.
Jeeps abuse me on a regular basis.
That's true.
So it to me,
Jeeps are your drug.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jeeps are certainly my drug. And
before we get too far though from the comments, do we need to do a wellness check on Nate? Because
Nate,
that is crazy.
Joe, right? I mean, how
we got Ken jumping in saying morning, guys, and Fred saying good morning.
Good morning to everybody. Yeah, I hope that they're okay. A lot going on in the world.
They may be just building another Jeep. With Nate, that's actually possible.
Potentially. So, tickling our imagination. I'm obsessed with that term at this moment. It's the concept vehicles are supposed to kind of transport us as members of the Jeep community to the potential or the possibilities of what a Jeep platform vehicle can be.
So I have a fun game for us. Each one of us has to pick the best of the concepts on this paper and the worst.
I don't like this game. The worst. Both pages. The best. It's not on there.
So what we have before us, if you're not familiar, maybe you're tuning in, you're new to the Jeep community, I will unpack for the briefest. For 20 years, roughly speaking, Jeep has worked with on a degree of a secretive level with builders who are near the assembly plants. This is almost a geographical exclusivity. There are NDAs involved because these are not exactly individuals who, this is not like at the factory line and this thing's over in the corner and they're bolting this stuff on or doing things to it.
Right. And the cool part is unlike other concepts where it's a block of clay that is on a turnstile and it doesn't move, it doesn't do anything. These are literally going to the trail. They're getting used. They're functional. We've seen them then at Jeep shows later, which kind of, we're the only brand that does that.
Correct. The only industry. And I know that this year, Bronco was out there at the same time that EJS was. So Ford was, because... And I don't pay attention all that closely, but I recognize that EJS is either shortly predated or followed by a Bronco run, which, of course, because it's not part of my community, I don't pay a lick of attention. But I do know from friends of ours in the industry that they actually had Broncos out there.
Well, hopefully they do it after so they're not broke down on the trail.
As the Jeeps have to
go around them.
Make the Jeeps go around them. There's just another obstacle to traverse. But I think you're absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. As a kid, I remember watching automotive engineers do clay models, do cardboard aided design of sorts, and put them through the wind tunnels, and then start to form it, and eventually you would get it at a car show. It would just be sitting on a turnstile.
Most of the time, they didn't even have an interior; it'd just be like top of seats or top of steering wheel. I mean, they were just something to look at. It was a piece of art. And I remember in the 2000s, Buick made a concept that was retro, and they could actually drive it. Had interior. The doors were suicide. That was the first time I had seen any other automotive brand attempt to do what Jeep does. And like I said, these vehicles, they use and abuse them. They wheel them. They go for a tour for the next year or so, which I can appreciate. And maybe, with great
Jeep parts comes great responsibility.
Yes. And so therefore, while I understand we're still having things that are drivable and, a whole fleet of them, they've done so much better in previous years. I mean, we've had, the Hurricane with the Hemi that was so cool that Fisher Price had to make one for kids to drive. And
Matchbox picked that up and
had the 4-wheel steering. And I mean, and this year we got a V6 Cherokee.
Stop it. Okay. So, and I will note that again,
we know which one that touched him most, though.
Right? I really, really love and appreciate the Jeep brand for being responsive to the community and doing this and understanding the value of being present at EJS with these vehicles to torture test them to say your piece. Additionally, this particular leadership team, in my opinion, is harkens back to the early 2000s of the Mopar Underground, where they want their concept vehicles to be appreciated by the masses. If you're unfamiliar with that, there was this moment in somewhere between 07 and 10-ish, where Mopar Underground actually had a series of semi-trucks. They were wrapped, and they would stuff the concepts, the prototype vehicles in the back of these semi-trucks. It would roll into an event. It was very cool, and the Jeeps were over the top, kind of what you're talking about. And I think we had a decade. 07 was kind of meh, and then shortly thereafter, we had a decade of these over-the-top
concepts.
I
feel like we're back pre-Rubicon days where they had to prove to the higher ups that this was worth doing.
And ultimately that was EJS and the Rubicon. That was where the Rubicon, not the trail, but the model was born, because again, these
a little bit of the skunks works, and they had to prove it. Where I feel like this year they're like, hey guys, so we have no budget for this.
Well, and that's exactly so, but that's true, right? So there is truth there, and I was going to say I feel like we have to mention that this particular leadership team, Jeep has tanked for the last 3 years. Stellantis, Jeep not necessarily, Stellantis as a whole, and I've spoke at length about this, has just been on a downward slide for several years at this point, and so. But this particular leadership team was highly responsive for the Toledo Jeep Festival, and I think you can count on having all of these concept vehicles there. They brought a ton of vehicles last year. I bet you all 6 of these will be here, and then a smattering of them.
Unless the V6 breaks.
A smattering of them elsewhere, and then ultimately at SEMA you'll have all 6 on display again. This particular grouping, I think, is absolutely indicative of what is going on in our greater global economy at the moment. It just is lackluster.
I mean, I would have rather had less Jeeps and had cooler Jeeps.
So with that said, let's talk about them, and let's pick maybe we each talk about 2 just based
He's
off
purposely
the paperwork
not handing me the one with the Cherokee on it.
That was smart.
I
Don't
handed
give
you.
the Cherokee
So
to the
I'll be
Cherokee
honest
guy.
with you. I handed you the one what I think is the most disappointing personally. In my, you know how you were.
They're all disappointing. I'm
how
sorry.
Jeff was saying oh man, we're firing on this. And while you guys are kind of
I
reading
mean,
through
last
that,
year, again, sorry to cut you off, but last year I remember we see you Stellantis. We have tit for tat kind of JTs, big tires, long armed, all that kind of stuff. We had a diesel. They had not a diesel. This year we have something on 37s.
their JT is the least interesting. That was literally like, I mean, there is just nothing about that JT.
It's got a cool paint job. I like the paint job. Nothing else. I mean, it's got a stock Rubicon front bumper. It's got a Warn winch, which I think they have to at this point. It's got 37s on V-lock wheels. Never seen that before. They got the 3.6 Pentastar. Well, I sure hope so.
I love that they hyped that up in the write-ups.
I mean,
I love that they hyped that up. Give me something unique. Throw a Hemi in there. Give me a diesel.
Something.
Give me an orange
Something.
stitching.
and then
Yeah,
you
orange stitching on the buzz concept.
That was, I just read that. I'm like, that's your highlight?
Yes.
and then the 715 vehicle.
No, don't. Let's not get off the JT just
Okay,
yet.
we're not done beating that
I'm
horse
not
yet.
done beating this dead horse yet.
Oh, they have an ARB onboard air system.
I just thought to
Ooh, boy.
myself, this is somebody's daily driver. And they were like,
I
hey,
feel like they were like, hey, so
Give me a paint job and we can put this in there.
yeah,
100%.
like marketing just bought this red JT, so we'll just go ahead and do the sticker
Dana
package.
Spicer did this for their SEMA booth like 3 years ago. It was just like a guy and a friend of like one of the marketing guys. It was like, hey, do you want a set of tons? And they like got the Jeep, locked the doors, parked it in their booth, and walked away. It was just
Yeah.
like, hey, he got some free tons for the weekend, you know?
Yep.
And that's not even tonned out. That's just on regular stock axles.
Yep. It's basically a red version of my Jeep on 37s.
All right,
100%.
You guys,
Custom graphics,
yours,
combining the
Jeff's
legacy.
former Jeep, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean,
Wow.
Jeff's Jeep is arguably better than this.
Yes.
I agree.
At least Jeff's was long armed.
I
Yep.
know, right?
I mean,
And
his has got a cool deck system. This has got like wants to be rotopacks on the bed, so you can't see out the back of it. I mean, I like the red. But
there was lots of storage to it. You know what I mean? The goal was to give the Overlander something to sink their teeth into.
it's not a good Overland
feel, well, and that's
where do you sleep on your Overland
I was
rig?
going to say, there's not even an RTT. If you want to make that Overland, put an RTT on it at least.
You sleep under it in the you get bit by the bugs and everything.
I kind of think that what
they
they were
didn't lift
doing
it high
here,
enough to sleep under it.
last year they had that. I probably wouldn't fit. Last year they had that, and I don't exactly recall what it is, but in my mind, what they called the name of it. But in my mind, it was the catalog Jeep. And from a business standpoint, I love this idea.
And that's fine.
It was a black Jeep, and they had blue Mopar Performance products. Everything was powder,
Everything was QR coded.
QR coded. I thought that was brilliant.
Absolutely. So then why wouldn't you do that again?
And
you don't even tell us what lift is on this.
correct. So I think that that's what this Jeep was basically a bunch of Mopar, because I think that it's a Mopar Performance lift. That's my guess.
Then they should have told us that.
Well, who knows what the write-ups are? Obviously, I did not
All right,
look
that
into
horse is dead and
right.
buried. So I'm moving on to my next hateful, the 715 concept vehicle. And I'm sorry, I remember when I could buy this front end kit for my JK and just bolt it on in the weekend. So this does not impress me. It's basically a 392 with an ugly front end and a custom top that, again, we've seen before because it's the Safari. Like there should be someone with a big elephant gun on the roof.
an elephant
And this
gun
should
on the
be
roof.
gazelles running in the background. The wheels literally look like 392-ish wheels to me.
I like the front
Heavy
end.
duty steel and rear bumpers. Yeah, you can order your Rubicon with that. Legendary 392 V8 power. Yep, you can buy it with that. Custom non-removable roof.
Non-removable.
I think they've missed out who their demographic is.
Missed the mark on the mark.
We don't know how big the tires are.
I want to see the front end of that.
No, you don't.
Well, you said
Hold
it's
on.
ugly. He likes the front end, so I want to see it.
Well, I got one more that beat with the stick
He's
first.
feeling spicy
You're
today.
only doing 2.
You're supposed to only do 2.
Oh.
Give me that.
No,
paper.
no. You didn't. We didn't say we were doing our favorites and that because I didn't have all
No.
the
You were just reading off 2. Give
Oh,
me that
okay.
paper.
That's fine.
Here, you can look at the front end. I think the front end's unique.
That's
Unique's a
ugly.
word.
That's ugly as heck.
Unique's a word. Wow. Yeah, I don't like the front end.
If you
That almost
if you hadn't seen the
front
name
end
of that,
is almost like a Land Rover-esque.
right?
I think that's exactly the market there.
If you hadn't seen the name of it being, would you have had any connection to the 715?
No.
Yeah, that's exactly.
No. Yeah. All right. Go. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
He's gonna try to be nice and stuff.
I'm
kinda want you to
staring
have
at
to go
the
just so we can-
715-esque front end of it. I actually I don't dislike this particular Jeep. The Anvil concept, the Anvil 715.
You love the fact the roof is non-removable.
So, you're not wrong. So it's got that Safari inspired kind of Range Rover, Land Rover.
Just needs a tire on the hood. And
It needs a tire on the
does,
hood,
yep.
and ultimately we're competing for some third world countries developing militia. Really, I see you, Jeep. We're just trying to
that's
sell.
for, it definitely doesn't have any protection, and they're gonna die. And
Well, that's what their Toyota Hiluxes from 40 years ago are doing as well.
at least they're gonna
so-
keep running.
Wow.
Wow. I do like that they gave us. I mean, I think this is the only Hemi that they gave us. This should be the only Hemi that they gave us. I think that the Commander here should be the Hurricane. Straight 6 would be my understanding of that, which we'll get to.
The motor swaps are hard.
Well, and so, yeah, okay. I guess I will get into the next 2, even though I find them to be wholly underwhelming. They're more what I would call the sticker package concept vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Which they always have 1 or 2 of those.
We always have 1 or 2 of those. This one's going to be the Laredo, which is really confusing for a lot of periphery Jeep owners who they don't understand. Like all of a sudden, when they have something that's badged Laredo, they no longer have a Jeep. They have a Laredo, and that's a weird thing that's lost on me. But here, for those people, here's a Laredo.
It's got half doors. Never seen that before.
And
Can't buy those at the dealership.
Wow.
and I think that what I want to like out of it is the purposeful, rugged, and unapologetically analog interior feel. So they took a JL and they stripped it down to
Oh, so that's my Jeep.
make it
No,
like
it's not.
like a stripper package. They gave it a nice trim, contrast trim. You got the beige, you got the
If I'm not
the
mistaken,
striping.
this is the one that they took the older dash and they just removed the radio and they took a tablet, like went to Walmart, got a tablet,
Stuck it right
stuck
in
it in the center, and it just looks like that.
Huh. Maybe that would actually be fitting. I would understand kind of the throwback feel to it. They gave it the kind of the kidney bean, but they're not kidney bean, but the slotted wheel, like
Kind
the
of.
aluminum wheel, kind of a throwback of sorts. Kind of on a super side note, I had Rob, our good customer and friend there, talked about the original aluminum slotted wheel manufacturer, Kelsey Hayes.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of a nod to the Kelsey Hayes days,
Yeah.
right? That everybody got real excited about.
This literally has the stock plastic front bumper.
Okay, that is what irritates me the most.
It
Like
literally.
you went so close. It is a stock plastic bumper. They did a contrast color match on the tow hooks, which I'm okay with.
Wow.
They matched that to the grill, but then you had the they at least took the plastic inserts off. between the fender and the bumper.
Oh, the aerodynamic.
The air dams.
I would have
whatever they're
loved
called.
for them to have left that on.
Right?
I
It
just
actually looks worse like that.
I just wish they would have done something about
just-
that front bumper.
Why it doesn't have a Rubicon front bumper on it, I will never
and then
know.
the silver trim on it.
The
If you're gonna
silver
color
trim?
match the hooks, color match the
Color
trim.
match the trim.
Yeah.
At least do that, you know? I like the badging. I like, the aluminum wheel. I like the tan top. I like their attempt to the
take 'em-
analog interior feel.
The bone stock JL and just put stickers on it and didn't even bother to change the bumper.
And so, I mean, I can't help but think of there's some really sick, Jake Fenlock's JT, which he made as like a scrambler. He stickered it up. He did a lot
Honestly,
of the
that's
stuff
cooler
himself.
than that one.
That's what I'm feeling like. Like literally, Jeep, you did something that a guy on a family budget
Correct.
did 3 years ago.
Our two boys could do that concept.
And it's a good idea. And that's what I feel like. Everything. See, I at least like the fact that the Anvil has unique stuff. Like the 715 has unique stuff.
But they've done it before better than that one.
I was gonna say I like that.
I don't think this grill has been used before.
That grill has not been used
No.
before, but that concept has literally been done before, and it was done better than that
I
one.
was gonna say I think they had the right ideas. They just didn't follow through with any of them to make them.
It doesn't actually
Something
look
over
like a
the top.
715.
So this one, no, I'm with you. Well, because
there's not really much on these papers that literally couldn't just be done right now.
also, can
by
we talk?
anybody.
I'm going to jump back to the 750. I'm with you, Jeff. That's a great sentiment. That this again, we talk about Fenlock's Jeep.
I think the 715 concept
why is it not a 725? Right, because the
Right?
715
is a pickup truck.
is a pickup truck.
Yeah.
And what you did was give us a Jeep that has a non-removable roof.
They
so
should've-
unless I'm missing something, this is a Range Rover. This is a knockoff.
They
Range
could have
Rover.
literally
Yes.
gotten the see-through vinyl, blacked out the windows, put the little red cross on it, and had a cool hark back to a 725, and it educated the people that don't know about 25 into that. But instead, they did like this half vehicle, because again, they've done the Safari top before on a different concept, and they had if I'm not mistaken, the other one was a truck with the 715-ish grill.
It was. I think it had the Rhino grill on it, which
Yes, but still, I
or
just-
there was actually a 715 and a Rhino concept as well. Now that I'm noodling on it, but yeah, and so as I'm jumping around here, it didn't say about a lift on the quote unquote 715. It does not look particularly lifted. When we
if I had to
move,
guess, it's a basically stock 392.
yeah, oh right, because that's got a little extra lift to it and whatnot. So then the Laredo has the 2-inch Mopar Performance suspension on it.
Ooh.
All right, so and you know what? The thing is, I spent a good bit of time unhappy with the Laredo. Jeff, I think I'm going to jump and grab one of these
No,
because
no.
I really want to track.
You're doing the buzz cut.
I really want to
We're
trash
going right
the
in
buzz
order.
cut.
You're gonna go in the buzz cut.
Oh, because I want to talk about something good on these other ones.
Go ahead, do the buzz cut. Breaking news.
And with this release, folks, Stellantis Jeep Chrysler gives us potentially one of our most underwhelming JL builds,
It's a two-door.
which is probably the cheapest Jeep on the dealership lot that nobody wanted to buy last year.
Yep.
I mean, this was an attempt at the power to weight. Like think of any of their pork chop or their lower 40.
Any of the cool Jeeps they did.
where they had, and of course, I love the idea of the 2.0 turbo is a great engine. Sounds like a diesel. They've worked a lot of the
not.
bugs out over the time. I don't know how it's going to last as far as how the turbo
not.
is concerned. This one literally reminds me of one of my earliest, my dad's 95 4-cylinder YJ that we drove to the
It
Carolinas.
does kind of remind me of a 4-cylinder automatic YJ.
That's what it is.
Wow.
It is the armpit of the topless doorless model era vehicles. Right now, the 2.0 turbo is actually a pretty healthy engine. This actually has the 8-speed automatic behind it. Has the Mopar cold air intake.
Because they don't know how to fix the clutches yet, so they had to put the automatic in.
I don't think we have a manual, period, because that really would have been the opportunity for the JT crowd. You could have put that could have been a 6-speed in that really incredibly over. I'm not sure which one I'm more disappointed in yet, the Red Rock concept or the Buzz Cut. The big takeaway for the Buzz Cut is that it has orange seat belts and vitamin C orange accents and stitching throughout. It's
Jeep people are really worried about those aesthetics of the interior.
we've got this one. This one really speaks to the thematically inclined individuals, I think. Right, so that's you've got orange rings on the lights. You've got really classic A-pillar and bumper lights. You've got the Mopar, Rubicon bumper without the wings on
At
it.
least they made it a stubby.
They made it a stubby.
Made it a stubby. I wish that was hard for them. Taking
right.
those bolts out. At least it doesn't have a plastic front bumper.
Looks
I guess.
like we're rocking KM3s. I think we're on.
Yeah, there's a lot of
all-
BFGs.
I think it's all BFG. BFG must have stepped up for purposes. Tell me what's on the 715, but I think BFG stepped up and sponsored tires.
They're all BFG all trains.
Are they the KO2s?
You know, that's what you want when you're.
Give me
out.
that off the 715. I should have given it to Jeff. Anyways. Yeah, the Buzzcut is supposed to be that
They can go on
low
safari
center of
until they get in
gravity
the mud.
powered. I'm just gonna keep talking over you. It's supposed to be that LCG, big tire, big horsepower,
How big
power
are the
to weight
tires?
ratio.
Neil?
They are a massive. They don't say, but I'm certain they're.
I bet those are 37s.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's Google that real quick.
Juggling is happening.
Yeah, fortunately Jeff's back for that. And they made sure to brand down the hood of it Buzzcut. On both the Red Rock and the Buzzcut. That was basically like, hey, what else can we show up with, folks?
37 BFG KM3s.
Yeah. Yeah. And they've got the Rubicon high clearance flares on both of those. So they've got 2
That's
inches
part
of
why I
lift.
thought it was 37. The high clearance and the tire's still up there. So
And you have a 2-inch Mopar lift on it,
Right.
They
which
started with a Rubicon and put a 2-inch lift kit on it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Did they even put a Rubicon? Did they even start with a Rubicon? It doesn't say anything about the lockers. I mean, granted, we're not reading the full write-ups about it, but if you like orange, this is the Jeep for you.
Yes,
So
all the orange.
if you like thematic stuff and you're excited about color,
And you
your
too
color
can build
coordinating,
this in your driveway in a weekend.
it's very relatable. It's very. I'm trying to find something nice to say about it.
I'm over it.
Well, if you thought those were awesome,
You know,
I actually really love this next one.
you
I
love
do.
being broken down in an old XJ.
all right. So I get the XJ just because I know how much Scott loves this one. This rewinds the tape back to 84 as the Jeep brand's OG compact SUV remastered.
Oh, wait a second. Breaking news. They chopped the top of Buzzcut 2 inches lower.
You can see that. It looks squished. I don't like it.
I think I prefer Bradford Watson's low key to Buzzcut. What
Agreed.
was the point of taking 2 inches out of the roof
Make
line?
the top not work, which is why
Okay.
it doesn't
To
have
make
one.
people that have any height to them not fit.
I was gonna say, I do think that 2-door JLs look a little goofy. They look a little bulbous, but I've almost started to appreciate that.
No, see,
out
they
of
got
them.
together and are like, hey guys, what can we do with like no budget? Like we can't even go to McDonald's for lunch. Budget. And somebody was like, I can cut 2
I
inches
can
out.
And,
remove
they're going to call
something.
it. They're going to call it rollover protection because there's less metal that can squish.
That's Oh man! Now in there, I'm trying to defend them. I really have no good transition to this. It was just simply something I was aware of this weekend on the JL owners community. Two-door JL owner just totally had like the most like, let me speak to the manager moment. You know, they went to EJS with their two-door JL.
Did they get confused with one of the concepts?
So looked, I seriously could have went and talked to all the different manufacturers. After talking to all the different manufacturers, ended up buying the Rock Jock lift kit at 2.5, 3 inches or whatever. All of a sudden, the post they do the install, and then they're super mad because they're the person who has measured actual how much lift.
Oh no.
And the Jeep actually netted them over 5 inches of lift.
Whoa. It's like 1995 again.
Yeah. And of course they did a
So
kit.
now their Jeep is not drivable.
Well, and they did not do lower control arms in the rear.
Ooh.
So the rear axle is sucked forward. It really does look bad in the picture. They made bad choices, and they just did superficial research by talking to the reps, who, of course,
Are going to sell their product.
you know, and got online. And then all of a sudden, you know, they were talking about like, because it was originally as a Rubicon. So when you put a 3.5 inch kit on a Rubicon, it only nets you 2 inches or 2.5 inches, right? This whole like, which we all know is actually, unless you have the sport basic nose down in the ground Jeep, which I don't understand that spring rate. There are some Jeeps that like the nominal difference between the two is not standardized, right?
Yeah.
This idea that the Rubicon is lifted over this other Jeep, it has everything to do with like what spring that Jeep got coming down the line, not so much exactly the model. There is no if this, then that, then this, the perfect scenario. We've seen Sport S's that are basically kissing the ground with stock springs. We've seen Sport S's that are tolerable, you know, maybe need a little bit of leveling. So anyways, they bought a 3.5 inch kit, but they had a Rubicon, so they were hoping for 2.5 inches of lift, but then they got 5, and then all of a sudden their post got to the point where they had 7. And they were like, what am I supposed to do with 7-inch lift? Because I bought shocks for 3 to 6. It was the most like, let me speak to a manager type of tirade, and showed their screenshot of how the angry email they sent over the weekend.
How much lift over anything on the concept list had?
Totes, right? Totes. So come back to Buzzcut, and they were like, actually, we don't know how to lift a 2-door, so let's just remove 2 inches out of the top.
It's fair.
That's fair.
That's how I feel happened there.
Back to the XJ. They put a 2-inch suspension lift.
Ooh.
Quick disconnects.
Which wait, real quick. It's probably like old man emu in that 2-inch.
Probably.
You know?
Custom carbon fender flares with reshaped wheel openings for maximum clearance.
So the only thing cool on this is they took the time to do a Scottism, and I can appreciate this. They took all the time and blew the entire budget on the fender flares and then painted them so that nobody else knows they did anything.
That is so true.
Yes.
Yep. The biggest investment in this resto mod, which is not
most
exactly
people will
resto
never
mod.
know.
Most people will never ever know.
They'll look at him like something's different, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
And
And then they'll see the oil stains from the 2.8, and they'll be like, "Oh, why am I looking at this?" I guess I'm so disappointed because how cool would it have been to put a 3.6 swap into that?
I really am surprised that they didn't.
Here we go too. You got custom painted wheels with 33-inch BFG all-terrain tires.
And I'm going to Jeep nerd out for a second because Neil hasn't had the displeasure of looking at the interior of this XJ. This, you know where the little change piece on the old school Cherokee's right behind the shifter?
Absolutely.
That is for a 4-wheel, 2-wheel drive switch like an Eagle had. That's what that has. So it is such the armpit of Jeepdom that still has that switch.
No, it does not.
And the shifter for the 4-wheel drive is just like 4 high, neutral, and low.
Oh,
So
get the heck
it's a
outta here.
208 or something transfer case.
Yes.
Vacuum.
Actuated.
Yeah. It's why?
Wait. They put an integrated structural rock rails on this.
They cut out the rockers that didn't exist and put in tubing
Yes.
like anybody else in their driveway did.
Who has an XJ?
But this is the part that Neil's going to like. There's a series of fun, hidden and not so hidden details that nod to the era of cassette tapes, big hair, and stonewashed denim, including a custom color and era-specific ergonomic seat enhancements.
That ergonomic
it's
seat
got flat on the
enhancement
seats, if I'm not mistaken.
is it has period accurate beaded seat covers.
Oh yeah. That's right. Because
And a
those are
Rubik's Cube on the dash.
yeah.
So Davey would want this one.
You took
He loves the Rubik's
you took
Cube.
people that were born in 2000, and you're like, let's do something retro from 1984. Like they should have done a touch tone phone on the dash or something, or one of those old school like Motorola car phones.
You know, and again, outside of the fact that we don't actually get to know who the builders are and the NDAs,
That's probably
I want to
good for
know
this group.
what piece of junk, who owns this piece of junk is
I think somebody in the higher management was like, I think it would be quaint to own this vintage vehicle.
But I got to have a cooler in it for my beers.
So I'm going to have an excuse. We're going to use it for the concepts, and now I'm just going to own it and take it to car shows.
The concept is built from a well-preserved 1984 Cherokee, focusing on functional, air quotes, OEM plus build rather than heavy modifications.
Then why did we have to put rockers of tubing?
Because there weren't. Because they found this sitting in somebody's backyard in Toledo, Ohio. There were no rockers on it. And they cleaned it up to make this thing. And and Notch Customs, terrible company. Just anybody who was around back in the day, Notch had all the opportunity in the world. They flittered their finances and business management away. Notch had the market on these fenders. And of course, they weren't carbon fiber at that time. They were.
Which why did they bother to make them carbon? Because they're painted.
Yeah.
And it's got 33s on it.
Because we know that you need 2 inches and high clearance flares just to run 33s in a functional manner on an
Correct.
XJ.
And it's a 2-door, so they could have cheated a little bit.
Oh,
back
you
there.
could have cheated it up so much. You could have had 35s on this thing.
You could have.
Had this real low slung, but then the 2.8 would have just been like, I give up.
I'm surprised it hasn't yet.
I want to know how many miles are on the garbage 2.8 that's in this thing as well.
Bill said Rust Belt Resurrection.
That would have been cooler.
Right?
That would have been cooler.
I love vintage vehicles. I think it would be so cool that if they would have took a 3.6 and an 8-speed and put in that and shown that it could work.
You know what? This exact Jeep, as it sits, the carbon fiber flares, the paint. I know how hard that was.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being a hidden detail. I'm okay. Those who are going to know, if you know, you know. Cool. That type of Easter egg stuff, that sells, right?
I
that
mean,
gets people like me excited. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Put the V6 in it and give me that nod to these old school
They
V6s.
could have made the badge literally someone with a 3D printer,
Yes.
not just Stellantis, could have 3D printed the badge on the back that said 3.6. Instead, they took paint, like they got their textures brush out and they painted over the 4x4 and stuff. I mean, I did cooler crap when I was in high school with my Cherokee.
The XJ Pioneer is widely considered a nostalgic highlight of the 2026 lineup.
Where's the highlight? So our last one in the lineup, and I'm excited to talk about this one because I hated the Commander when that came out.
Yep.
So
I actually saw this one come out a couple days ago, and I absolutely thought of you in the process. So I'm glad
sure
that
you did.
land with it.
So this one is the full-size premium SUV dialed up with a functional off-road enhancement, incredible stealthy capability. The Commander is reporting for duty. So this is, they took the Grand Wagoneer and they souped it up and called it a Commander. 35-inch tires on 20-inch wheels.
When the Grand Wagoneer has bigger tires on it than the vintage build.
That's, yep. Custom roof rack integrated with the Baja Designs S-Pod lighting for enhanced visibility in low light and off-grid environments. Custom protective skid plates. Ooh. And custom side graphics that reinterpret classic wood grain and serious off-road facing vibe. What? Where? Reinterpret wood grain. This picture doesn't.
I think it's inside. It's not on the outside. I think the wood grain's on the inside.
Oh, okay.
If only we didn't have to wonder with the concept vehicle.
I mean, at least the Wagoneer's got room in it. The Commander had no room in it.
But again, there's not. All they did was rebadge it
And soup up a couple minor things.
and put a lift and bigger tires on it.
Yeah. Couple minor things.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Go from 6
If
Jeeps
you
to
have
3
a-
Jeeps.
If you have $150,000 to buy a freaking Wagoneer, you could do this too.
Correct. I understand budget cuts and I understand what the economy is. I would have rather had 3 awesome Jeeps than the 6 we got. And
So
even if there was just one that was an over the top fun build,
which they had done before.
yeah, even if it was just the one that you're like, that's cool. Average Joe
The
can't make
one
that
with the
vehicle.
4 steering and the Hemi front and
Yeah.
back. That was the one flagship cool Jeep, and the rest were kind of meh.
Right,
All of these are meh.
right.
So
And
the
anybody could build these in their
So,
backyard.
Rock
there's
Crawler-
nothing fancy.
Rockcrawler did the suspension on this particular Jeep, and
On the Grand Wagoneer.
on the Grand Wagoneer Commander. So we do have notice of that. But otherwise, it really is about like the skids, and I'd really like to know what custom skids are
And
under
here's
there.
where we could have used the carbon fiber and been cool.
So it's on, the funny thing is it's got the 35-inch Nitto Recons, which is literally what we just put on Scott and Jenna Bennett's Jeep, which was on a
Which is
national.
cooler.
Their Jeep is cooler, but and it's on 20-inch wheels wrapped in 35-inch Nitto Recon, which I love the tire. They're balancing great, so it's a good quality tire. So balances off-road traction with on-road stability.
So at least
I can
one
get behind
Jeep
that.
and the group has good balance on the tires.
So that's the funny. I think that's the only Jeep
That's
that
good
we
balance.
see that is not on BFGs, roughly speaking. I think the Anvil's not on. I think the Anvil must be on Falcons or something. I don't think the Anvil is on the ATs that you were thinking it was. Let's see if I can find the. Honestly, this article says that everybody loves the XJ the most, just so we're all on the same page.
They haven't had the misfortune of having an experience with it.
I think the thing is the
P6.
XJ looks really cool for an XJ. Do you know what I mean? Like I could get into.
I knew we were in danger when I saw the grill, because it's the early grill.
You're right.
And then I saw the interior with the switch.
Oh,
that,
the Anvil's on 37-inch. No, I already did that
Anvil's on the BF KM3s also.
as well. Yeah, doesn't look like it, but I'm with you.
I agree. That picture does.
This is the only one that's on Nittos. I think that
so somebody different built that.
that's exactly what it was. I mean, I think that they're nodding to the fact that Rockcrawler suspension. I think that Jeremy at Rockcrawler put this Jeep together. That's my guess. He's, their performance, whatever, is their full-size truck line.
Yeah.
I guarantee that they just shipped this over to them.
And that Jeep is why we couldn't find the 5th tire for our build.
At first, right? They were on national back order. 'Cause the first run of them were picked up. Yeah. I feel like 5 of them were built out of Detroit to Toledo, Ohio. And the 6th was in, Eastern New York. It just kind of tracked that way too. I of course love big, full size, heavy, dumb vehicles off road. That's my own. Of course, I say that, and I love power to weight ratio, low slung. What we've had in the past.
Like an XJ would be with like almost 300 horsepower from a 3.6 V6.
Listen to you. They were so close, and yet they just didn't do that.
Nope. The stands were loaded. They had a good hitter on point, and they just
I love his sports analogies,
but
that he
barely
was
hit
trying
the
to
ball. Everybody got left wanting, looking over the stands, going, "That's where the ball could have gone."
So what do you guys think? I mean, as far as our listening audience, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us and let us know what your favorite concept is or isn't. You could disagree with us and you think that maybe that Red Rock Gladiator has something that we missed and it's the coolest Jeep you've ever seen in your whole entire life, simply because it's red. I don't know. I mean, I love red more than the next person.
In the comments, there was someone from YouTube saying, as a 90s kid, I definitely dig the Rewind. I think it's a great base. Color and sticker package is cool. The seats and the little Easter eggs are neat, and he digs the 5.7 lifted with some 37s and a 2-door.
That's not this year's, but
That is not this year.
that was last year's.
Yes.
Which last year's
Was
and
cool.
I think that we see this in life, right? I think that last year they did a ton of stuff, but we can't you can't get milk from a dead cow, right? I mean, Jeep is in one of its worst places it's been since the 80s, in a grand scheme concept. They don't have any budget, is my guess.
Which I don't know. It's still like they have all the insider information on the harness, the computers. They literally produce the motors every day. I don't see that as a big reach for them. You just need somebody that custom makes some motor mounts. Whoopie
In the
fizz.
XJ.
In the XJ.
Yep.
He's really hung up on the XJ.
I just don't get it.
Well, and the funny thing for me, for Laredo, weren't what would you say the engine power plant in the 80s Laredo was? I mean, I think of, or was I thinking Renegade? Typically, you had the V8 package. Laredos,
yeah.
Laredos weren't the V8s. Renegades were V8s typically.
Correct.
There we go. I was
Laredo
I almost-
was
You're
the-
thinking the early 2000s Grand Cherokee Laredo. That had the V8 option.
Well, no.
But
So
that was-
you go all the way back. Laredo and the CJ line,
yeah.
was the cushy leather wrap steering wheel, leather wrap grab bar, nicer seats, a little nicer carpet, that kind of stuff. And then they made it irrelevant when they did it at the Dub J, and the middle of the road Jeep was a Laredo.
Right.
And now everybody, you like lowered the stock price of Laredo by doing that.
Correct.
So now it's
Now Laredo's basically your entry level.
correct. They have alienated that
The original Laredos.
the original Laredo. Yes.
So the only, and here's where it is of value. The Laredo concept is a 6-speed. So they are trying to hearken to the fact that they are one of the few manufacturers who are still producing a manual transmission. Right? I mean, give them a little bit of credit where credit might be due. It is the 3.6 with the 6-speed in the their Laredo concept vehicle. To be extreme, it doesn't chase overlanding trends or push radical design changes. Instead, it seems to ask simpler question: what if you took a modern Wrangler and removed everything that doesn't need to be there? Yeah, subtle upgrades while never losing the vehicle's core simplicity. I feel like it's really just kind of a fluffed up idea. Like I need you to buy into this, so I'm just going to kind of spin doctor it to the best of our ability.
I think they built what they could build. They had then marketing go sit down, like come up what we can talk about with this.
I do like the retro style magged wheels.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would ever put them on a personal vehicle of mine. I like the solid steel wheels better.
Yeah.
I do like when Jeep has done that in the past, though, and they do a unique wheel.
But don't you feel the Kelsley Hayes wheels are more appropriate on a Renegade than a Laredo?
I do.
Yes.
I do, and that's
confused.
Jeep's confused, and so I years ago I had this question. And I pull no punches. Great friend of mine. I want to reference him, but I don't because I don't want to get him in trouble. He's in the industry. He's on the inside, and I reached out to him one time, and I was like, dude, why is Jeep Corporate doing X, Y, and Z? We did this in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
It failed miserably. I'm not saying we shouldn't dabble in it, but why are we seemingly confused and without some direction? And his response was, well, the engineers and the design team were actually all born in the 2000s, so they weren't there when that.
It's relatively apparent.
And I think that this kind of speaks to this, the fact that this style, slotted wheel, they should have done a Renegade package.
Correct.
And the Laredo should have had maybe a little something else going on. I'm not sure. Leaves you wanting a little bit this year.
Definitely.
A little.
All right, folks. I think unless there's any particular good conversations in there.
Jeannie just quit putting pinstripes on Jeeps, makes them look ugly. Her opinion of the concept Jeeps. I
love pinstripes.
I was going to say, I think the stripes are good when used appropriately.
Yeah.
And
I think I also like pinstriping as a design element.
Yeah.
And an artistic.
Well, I was going to say, if they're done with the artist doing the actual brush on
Correct.
pinstripes, it's amazing.
Correct. I like that old school pinstripe, but that's not what she's talking
No.
about per se.
No. And Bill McWilliams said he's getting ready to paint the Barbie Jeep for Bantam Concept Custom Flares.
Ooh, Bill, are you doing the downhill race? We've been trying to get Davey to do it for years at this point.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem to get behind it for us. So
He was almost behind it that one year, and then he flipped the Jeep and got hurt out in the side yard.
Oh, that was such great coverage.
Was
I will forever
hilarious.
live rent free in my brain, and I am so thankful that not only is it documented in video, but I was there to witness it firsthand.
100%.
As he crushed his family jewels
with the battery.
with the battery from the
It
barbecue.
looked like a struggling turtle on his back.
If you don't know that one, folks, you're going to want to go dig around in our YouTube videos to find it. It's so good. So good.
And Bill said he is going to run the race.
I hope he's in a duck suit or an alligator suit. I don't know,
Something.
some onesie, maybe a pink bunny.
He's got to be holding his beef sticks as he's riding down the hill.
No, he has a bucket of ducks, and he's like using those to chuck at other contestants.
There you go.
Love it. All right, folks.
He said he needs a pit crew, though.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Might be interested.
Davey's
Folks.
the pit crew.
Folks, this has been a fun one for us. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. We'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us at contact, CONTACT, at sfj4x4.com. Let us know what your take on the concept vehicles are now and previously, and maybe what you think you would have liked to have seen now or in the future. Additionally, you can text us, text-only number, 440-855-2100. Don't call that number. It doesn't ring. It does whatever, but you can text it. And if you're interested in knowing what's happening in our personal lives, feel free to hang out through the outro credits, and we'll update you accordingly. Until then, we've got 25 to 35 vehicles on or around property. We've got some cool vintage resto mods heading to the dyno today to dial in the fuel injection. We got a lot going on, and we'll look forward to next time. Till then, Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Jeep on.
So I think we should need to make him go last for the.
Absolutely.
100%. I'll jump in. You typically go first. So mine was just racing around in said Jeep all weekend, playing a little catch up on life since I was out of town. It has been a couple weeks, and so I will just ever so slightly elaborate on the fact that I was recently in Charleston, South Carolina. Had a spectacular time down there, other than FedEx touching me in a really big way. So one of the last times that we were on the podcast, I was talking about T-Force trucking. And
Did FedEx deliver picnic tables instead of axles again?
Oh, God.
No, they were supposed to be the Easter Bunny, and they lost their they didn't understand the
They didn't understand the assignment.
yeah, and they fumbled the ball.
Fumbled in a
hard.
big hard way. Now, I thought was really hysterical was that so last week, or the last time I was on air, I was maligning T-Force because they set us way behind schedule with the lift. We had 4 lifts on a pallet basically being delivered.
Delivered. All right,
Delivered. And that pallet got lost in transit, and eventually the driver explains to me that basically, hey, we used to have 13 guys run this route, now we only have 5, can't hire anybody, it's the world we're living in. I've heard it all now. Okay, cool. So one of our good customers actually works for FedEx Freight corporate, customer and friend, right? Jeep's on property, and he's a childhood friend of mine. And he hits me up on the side after watching, that last podcast, and he was like, it was around Easter, and it was like, oh, hey, just got done getting the podcast update. Thank God it wasn't FedEx for once, you know what I mean? And I was like, but wait,
there's more.
There's more.
Here is how FedEx has touched me.
Yes. So it actually prolonged our stay in Charleston by a day or two because I had done all this logistics, and then
I'd have uncomfortable talk with the kids.
Oh, yeah. So we ended up, the Easter Bunny had to write an IOU because the Easter Bunny was unable to carry said package in an Easter basket. Instead, it needed to come via FedEx.
And next time, the Easter Bunny will try to pick a better shipping
company in the process.
How was Charleston? Did you end up going on any of the ghost tours with the kids?
I did not. I booked I went to book the ghost tours. Honestly, we went and watched the River Dogs play baseball.
Oh, that's fun.
For opening weekend.
Yeah.
It was spectacular. It was their fireworks night. It felt electric. We had beautiful weather. We cruised in the vehicles, the windows down, and the music blaring. We did yard work. We Easter egg hunted in the middle of the city. It was great, and I did not want to come home, but then eventually, did. Now the challenge, because of the nature of traveling with the dogs and the kennel and bringing back stuff, I drove the International down. That was an adventure. I don't mind the drive, but we all know how that's really not. I keep getting on this podcast and talking about how it's really not a
road trip vehicle,
and yet
you keep driving it across the country.
Yeah.
And over and over again.
Oh, glutton for friggin' punishment if you just kind of you really kind of boil it down. But that all went really well. I was very fortunate because the fuel here was not that expensive, like in the grand scheme of the fact that crippling fuel prices. And of course, the International's diesel. And I was actually able to fill up here. Drove down there, drove around for the week. Now, granted, when we're there, we drive our friend's car. So that's way more efficient and whatnot. But I literally didn't put fuel in the truck until I was a quarter of the drive back north. So that was manageable at least. But kind of a fun vehicular, road trip experience. This weekend myself was all about assembling stuff and working on the homestead and the house build. And as I continued, I shared previously how I actually really enjoy vinyl siding at this point. This was my first time. I finally closed off the eaves to the she shed.
Yeah.
Made 11,000 cuts and interlocked the eaves and put the fascia board cover on and dressed up the front of the shed. And that was all brand new. When we built the house, we actually had the Amish do the eaves and the roof because of the nature of it being cathedral ceiling,
right,
so on and so forth. But obviously, Jeff and I did the shed, and so I kind of wanted that experience of what is it like to enclose it appropriately, and that's what I did this weekend. So all is well. I had a great warm weather, work on the property, race around in the Jeep across the county experience. So I'm, overall vehicularly, everything is very good. I'd like to work on some stuff here, but time.
Yep.
So for me, I worked on getting the back of the car, the Model T project, kind of figured out. So I got the tail pan welded to the quarter panel, which required me to finish this like trim. Basically, it's like a cast piece of steel or something. I don't actually understand how it was made back then, but it basically looks like a T from a top profile, and it goes from the roof all the way down to where the bumper would be. And because of how the car has experienced this last 100 years of life, it was in multiple pieces. So
Okay.
thankfully it welds well, and I was able to kind of take and cut up pieces and put in. The hardest part is when trying to show that after the fact, it doesn't quite show that. Next problem is when I got over the passenger side, I had things kind of clamped together. I released it, and it sprung the tail pan up like 3/4 of an inch. And I thought I got it sucked down, and I had to improperly clamp things with a long lever arm and push down on it. And I thought I had everything good until I went to close the trunk lid, which is still hot garbage, but it still showed me that I was still high on the other side. I had welded it all solid.
Oh.
So out came the Sawzall, and I cut across the top above the opening and down the side and shifted the panel, clamped it again, and then had to fill in all that. Again, it's hard to see on my social update, but
I did think you're becoming quite the gifted metal worker, though. I mean, I can see what you're doing to a degree. I can't even appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was looking at it, I was like, man, that's some really cool stuff you're working through.
so
Agreed.
got that done. Now the deck lid fits, and then I started because I had notched the frame and raised the rear part of the frame to lower the car. I had to. I had previously done the floor and stuff using some old parts. Well, now I needed to cap in the edges so that you're not getting road debris inside the trunk opening. So I got that kind of design, the driver's side welded in, and then late yesterday I welded in the actual wheel well that you'll see right behind the tire. And it is amazing. One of the coolest parts about this car is it was literally in pieces when I got it and all hot garbage. And as I keep adding things, it gets structurally more sound, and it comes more what you expect the car. Like, you first close the door early on, the whole thing would like shake like jello.
Yes.
And now you close the door and it's just thunk. And that's kind of cool to see it come back literally from the brink.
Yeah.
So that is the part I'm most enjoying, is just being able to step back and see that big impactful difference.
Yeah.
And at the same time, early on in my automotive career, if I would have done that 3/4 of an inch thing, I would have been devastated. It would have took me like a month to recover from that. And this time I was just like, well, gotta make it right. So we're just gonna cut it up and make it right. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Wild.
So overall, pretty happy. I'm getting to basically what I'm trying to do is get everything wrapped up. I have 2 more patches to make on the driver's side. Then the car is going to go out, spin around, and come back in, and I'm going to rinse and repeat all up the other side. So got the bottom of the quarter, wheel well, box in the raised portion of the trunk, and the back corner will all have to be done on that side. So, and then we'll have like a actual car. And then I can make a new deck lid from scratch, probably. Because it is so bad.
At that point, yeah.
Oh my goodness, is it bad? So
Excellent. And the last but not least, Jeffrey got rid of his Jeep, so he's no longer in the Jeep community.
Jeep's still there.
All right. I believe that.
Jeep was overdue for an oil change, so I had to go buy a car.
makes sense.
Yeah, because time.
What's that?
And of course, folks, I mean, if you recently joined us, you'll know that Jeffrey has left his full-time occupation here at SFJ 4x4 to pursue being a owner-operator, restaurateur, and bar aficionado.
Yeah.
So then that's out of the area from his commute.
Yeah.
So here brings us to the ribbing of the Jeep and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. It's a long drive going through the gas mileage that the Gladiator's getting on 37. So had to find an alternative to save a little bit of money. And when you factor in a car payment and the price of gas, I'm still saving money over what I was spending in the Jeep.
Wow.
Right.
That being said, you guys have to guess what kind of car would I have bought?
Well, I know what dealership you went to, and I know that they have Subarus, Volkswagens, and BMWs.
Now, there's a Honda dealership right next to it that I was also at. So
Right, but you had said specifically what dealer you went to, so I was discounting the Honda dealership. And I have tried to do business at the Honda
I told you
dealer.
I was going to go to the dealership, but I'm telling you, I went to both.
Yeah.
So that you know
That's fair. But I was picking on you earlier with the architect thing, saying that you probably got a Beamer.
Ooh. I did factually say to Kristen I wouldn't mind a Beamer.
Yeah.
But
I could see you be.
You could you would totally be a Beamer guy.
I absolutely said I wouldn't mind one, depending on what we found. So, but no, I did not get a Beamer.
I knew you wouldn't have, because you're too frugal for that.
Yes.
But
I don't
That's-
even
well,
know
that's exactly
what
it.
Honda cars exist anymore. Like I can produce a Honda Civic is like the only car from Honda.
So what I can tell you is Scott is right. I did end up at New Motors because I went to Honda first. I had a Honda Accord.
I've tried to buy there before. It's hard.
I walked the lot twice.
Yes.
Twice.
How many tumbleweeds went by you?
Several. Not once did a Honda rep come out and even say a word to me.
Exactly my
And I was like,
experience.
all right, I'm going to New Motors.
Yep.
So, and this is all in Erie, PA. For those that don't know, they have what's like 7 dealerships right in a row on
A Honda
Route
dealership
19.
needs to stop putting up billboards in Asheville County and actually get their
Right.
sellers out in the lot.
Yeah. So then we pull into New Motors. Before I got to the first vehicle, there was a rep there.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, first of all, that's a little too quick.
Yes.
I haven't even looked at your lot yet, but here's what I'm looking for.
Yep.
And I was like, I want a car that is efficient on fuel, but has room that I can put a couple kegs in if I have to run down to Meadville and pick up some kegs from our brewery.
Yep.
And other than that, I kind of don't care.
New or used?
Well, there you have to guess that as well.
Okay.
used Subaru Forester.
My money is it was new because that's where it's probably more money conscious to buy a new one now than to buy a used.
It actually is.
That's exactly right. And
It
that
is
was
100%
I looked at used, but in my head I was going, I needed to have reliability and a warranty because I can't have a vehicle that I'm just going to be investing more time in. I might as well just keep the Jeep at that point.
Specifically for that dealership, they'll have, I'll make something up, like 10 to 15 new vehicles on the lot. They'll have 3 used ones. They sell fast.
I see.
They actually have a ton of used vehicles on their lot.
Oh, okay.
But we were literally, he's showing us a used one that's got a dealer warranty still applied, low mileage, but the thing looks like I drove it through the woods.
Oh dear.
And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is only a couple years old. Why does it look so bad? Well, people don't know how to park and they ding things up. I'm like, you're asking a lot of money for that. And Kristen's like, what about this one over here? And there's a vehicle literally diagonal on the next row over. So we walk over and I'm like, what about this one? Why don't you get the keys for this one? He comes back with the keys. I go drive it, and I was like, wow, this thing's actually got a ton of room in it for as small of a car as it is.
Nice.
So that's what we ended up buying. I got stranded at the dealership because their
Which was what? Which was what? What was it?
I'm not telling you yet. I got stranded at the dealership because their finance office was so backed up. They had one finance manager on vacation.
I know how this story goes.
So they're like, well, you could come back tomorrow to finish if you want. I'm like, I don't have time tomorrow. This is the day I set aside to buy the vehicle. I will wait. And he's like, it's going to be a while. I'm like, that's fine. So Kristen went back home with the Jeep, and I just sat at the dealership for hours.
Oh God.
But it was funny because trying to make the deal before she left, they're like, hey, we're having trouble getting you approved. I'm like, I'm already approved. I already have the approval on this vehicle because I ran it through the finance that I usually use.
Sure.
I'm like, I'm already approved at way better rate than what you told me you think you could get me approved for.
Yes.
And they're like, well, we don't know how that's possible because we work with them and they're denying it. I was like, here's the reference number right here.
Yeah. Use the reference number
And-
that I have for you.
And they went and used it and they're like, oh yeah, you got approved for a really good rate. Uh-huh. Turns out because they were trying to run it again, and I already had an approval. It was blocking it. So people are trying to buy multiple vehicles in a day without actually having the ability to buy multiple vehicles. So they auto block. If you get an approval from one lender, at least for this dealership, the rest are auto blocked.
Huh.
That makes sense. I mean, you wouldn't want to, while it's all happening at the same time, you wouldn't want them to be able to buy 2 or 3 vehicles and then
From 2 or 3
over-leverage.
different dealerships. Yep.
Right.
So I have some qualifying answers. Assuming it's a hatchback-esque vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that puts out the Legacy, which I don't know who buys those anyway. So we're down to a Forester, an Outback, or a Crosstrack. I feel like
It said small, so I think the Forester's out.
Crosstrack is the smallest, but I feel like that's too small for him.
Well, wait, isn't the Forester the biggest?
No, Outback's the biggest.
Oh, okay. Well, then I stay at Forester. I hold my cards at Forester.
So we know it's new. We know it's hatchback, and it's none of the 3 you just said.
Oh,
Hmm.
Is it that different model they just came out with?
You bought a Mercedes.
No. Now we know it's a Subaru.
It is a Subaru.
Yes.
Trying to think.
I'm impressed that you haven't got it yet.
No, there's a model that's actually like half replacing the Ascent, but I don't remember what it's called now.
Crosstrek, Impreza, Ascent, Outback, Forester, BRZ, WRX.
Of those, which one's the smaller ones?
Impreza. That's what you bought?
I bought the Impreza.
It's actually in the compact car class.
Now what color?
Blue.
Yeah.
Well, that was hard.
I should have started with what color before we even went to any
None
vehicles.
of us were surprised. None of us are surprised.
And again, it's the only car we drove that day. It's the one Kristen picked out, and we were happy with it. They had a red one, a white one, and a blue one, and I'm like, well, I got to go with the blue one. I can't.
Right.
I don't want white, and I don't like red vehicles. So,
So how's the
Compact
Culture Shock?
5-door hatchback known for standard symmetrical all-wheel drive.
How's the Culture Shock going from up here in 37s in the lift kit to on the ground?
my 37s are taller than the car.
I know. You said Impreza, I was like, it's so little.
It is, but when you get inside, there is an unbelievable amount of room.
Absolutely.
I could not believe it. When I got in it, I'm like, that thing's so tiny, but it doesn't look bad. I'll check it out. I sat down and I'm like,
Yeah, it's cavernous.
why is there so much room in here?
Yeah,
so much room for
I know.
activities.
You could park that inside my wife's Ascent.
Yeah,
Do you know what engine you got?
the 2.0.
You got the 2.0,
Yeah.
so the little guy. Okay.
Yeah.
They have their 2.5.
It doesn't need more than the 2.0 with the turbo, though. I mean, that thing's so zippy as a little car.
Yeah, the 2.5 is 182 horsepower with an 8-speed transmission, but otherwise it's a CVT, so we know how that goes.
Yeah.
So you're at 152 horsepower on, I don't know, what, 1,800 pounds of car? You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, congratulations.
And I did drive it here today, and I had planned to drive the Jeep originally, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to park. We're going to see if anybody notices. If not, maybe I get away with it to the podcast. I've had this vehicle for 2 weeks now. I've waited to post anything about it for this moment.
For this moment. Oh, man. What a good day. What a good day. All right, folks. We'll do it again next week. We got a ton of Jeeps to get to. We heard a lot of requests for continuing Tuesday updates, and Scott and I are trying to force those into existence.
Yep.
Because obviously Jeffrey's not any help with that. But
My bad.
we got Jeeps to do today, so here we're off. Until next time, Jeep on.
Jeep on.
Jeep on.